Yeah.
Yeah. No worries. So I think, I want to just start with understanding a little bit about where you were when we first started to work with each other, and what it was that was, I suppose, motivating you to get help from an expert.
Yeah, thanks, Elika. So when we met a few months ago, as you know, I've been dealing with a lot of issues managing my energy, also managing my health. I've been having a few sort of chronic conditions that I'm battling with that severely depletes my energy levels and also causes a lot of strain in my day-to-day. So I was sort of looking for someone to primarily help me lift up my energy, lift up my mood, even while I'm managing my health conditions. So that was the context, yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And I think for you, I know that you've beautifully been able to go through the whole of what I call my energy reset recipe, right? So looking at these 4 pillars and, taking yourself through all the different parts of the work that's required, both inner work as well as physical work, that kind of integrates mind, body, and soul into a transformation that allows you to have more energy. Can you share what that process has been like for you, working on these different elements of, the true work that's required?
Yeah, I think, for what was eye-opening, working with you has been, it's not a very surface level fix, right? So our energy and our health is a manifestation of how we feel, how much self-care we have, and really a lot of the back to the basics, which was, I think, always things that we know of, but, really sort of embodying that in your day-to-day. I think that's been a big shift for me. So even simple things like having the 3 liters of water or 8 hours of sleep, getting the morning sunlight. I think all of those have really made a lot of the ailments that I was suffering with earlier. I feel like there's been a tremendous shift in my overall sense of well-being once I started being more consistent with my daily self-care.
Yeah. And so then, out of interest, because I love working with individuals like you, where I feel I need to take them where they are and their current belief systems and the reality that they think is true for them into a whole new reality of what I believe is true for them, or I always see people in the highest version of themselves. So having kind of worked through those, what was the biggest kind of breakthroughs that you've seen in that journey?
I love that how you talk about the quantum self and how you tap into that highest version of yourself, right? And that version of yourself is always available to you. It's really that one decision away for me to tap into it. I think that's been very reassuring to sort of know that I have all of the cures and I have all of the answers within me, right? It's not something that I need from external, whether it's medical attention or whatever it is. I've seen that there's a better way to heal myself by acting that mind-body connection. And as you mentioned earlier, that inner work, that sort of state of, not sure how to describe it, but that overall sense of being at peace and having that balance within yourself.
Yes.
I think that translates into your physical health, right? So the stress, for example, is a great example. As you know, I've been dealing with very high levels of stress, which was taking a huge toll on my nervous system and, directly impacting my health condition and leading to a lot of flare-ups. So the moment I started removing myself from those stressful situations, I could automatically see the shift in my well-being, my energy, my health. And it was interesting to sort of study that correlation over the last few months. And now I certainly believe that it's, a lot of our illnesses are really caused due to our internal conflicts, internal, unresolved issues, and dealing with what sort of have that holistic well-being.
Yeah. And a lot of what I see in today's world, a lot of people are dealing with that's taking so much energy is clarity around purpose. What's been that journey like? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, for me, that's been, I would say, one of the biggest transformations out of this, the months we've worked together. As you know, I'm very passionate about some of the projects that I hold close to my purpose, but unfortunately, I felt I was struggling with competing priorities and conflict in terms of how do I pursue those purposeful and meaningful projects. And the more I am now getting into alignment with the projects that are actually purposeful and aligned to my values, I just see how easy it is to move things along, right? I wouldn't expect everything to be a linear path of success, but I just notice how much of the struggle was actually unnecessary. And the struggle is happening when we are doing things we are not, really staying true to our purpose, or we are not really chasing it for the right reason. But once let go of the things that you've conditioned to believe are right for you versus the things that you know. And I think really like trusting your instincts, right? That's just been a big shift for me and something I want to sort of hone even more. How can I think more, which will always lead towards my purpose?
Great, great. So what would you say to somebody that, I mean, I will share with you that most people that I hear that have any resistance to either working with me or getting the support that they need is usually because of time and resources. They are it's a very similar scenario to yours, but they just have beliefs that may be serving them differently. So what would you speak to the person that might be thinking that they don't know if they have the time or the resources to invest? What would you share with them? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think, as you know, I'm, busy when I came to you, and I'm busier now. What I can say is if you invest in the right things, it ultimately gives you back way more, right? So the time that we've spent together for me has definitely been very meaningful. And I think it in return gives me so much more of energy, which opens up the time and, boost my productivity to do a lot more than I would just, working in autopilot, going through a reactive life. And I think that many of us tend to do. We get very lost in this reactive dealing with things day to day, but we don't live our life intentionally. And once you start living your life intentionally and investing in that, I think it's really working with you. It's definitely worth the returns.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.